The octopus is among the most well-liked types of seafood offered in Japan, not only due to the fact that it has a flavor that is unparalleled, but also due to the fact that it is rich in nutrients and can be processed in a variety of ways, including sushi, sashimi, takoyaki, and a great deal of other traditional dishes. The purpose of this endeavor is to supply a substantial quantity of octopus to both the domestic and international markets. Trap fishing is one of the various fishing techniques that Japanese fishermen have evolved over the years. Trap fishing is considered to be one of the most traditional, sophisticated, and highly effective tactics. The voyage to harvest octopus begins in the seas of the coast and continues to the offshore islands of Hokkaido, Okinawa, and the Seto Inland Sea. These are the places where fishing communities have passed down their knowledge and expertise from one generation to the next. Japanese fishermen are required to make extensive preparations before embarking on an octopus catching expedition. These preparations include the selection of boats, bait, and trap types, as well as the study of the weather and ocean currents. The traps are often made of ceramic or plastic and were designed to resemble little jars known as takosubo, which literally translates to octopus jars. Octopuses are known to hide in confined spaces that are dark and narrow on the seafloor, and these jars are designed to mimic the environment that they like. In the event that the octopuses conceal themselves within the jars, they are unable to flee and are easily captured by the fishermen when they are pulled up. When octopus trapping voyages are carried out, they typically take place at daybreak, when the sea is still calm and the ports are carrying hundreds to thousands of jars that have been securely fastened with ropes. The fishermen release these jars along paths that have been meticulously calculated by them. These jars are typically released in regions of the seabed that include a large number of reefs, seaweed, or coral, which are common habitats for octopuses. After the traps have been set, the fishermen will come back between 12 and 24 hours later to retrieve the nets and determine the number of jars that contain octopus that have been caught. The catch can be rather substantial on certain days. One adult octopus that weighs several kilograms is contained within each jar. However, there are other times when the water is exceptionally rough. As a result of the change in the direction of the water stream, the octopus does not venture out to feed and does not seek refuge in the storage containers. Another highly fascinating aspect of the procedure is the process of checking the traps. The fisherman makes use of a winch system that is powered by hydraulics in order to draw each trap wire out of the water. In order to prevent the jars from breaking and to avoid damaging the octopus, they operate very rapidly and with a great deal of skill. When the octopuses are removed from the jars, they frequently spray ink as a kind of self-defense, which results in times on the deck that are not only chaotic, but also a really vibrant experience. As soon as the octopuses have been caught, they will be categorized according to their size, weight, and the quality of their meat. For the purpose of bringing them back to shore with a higher value, those that are still alive and in good health will be stored in a tank filled with seawater. Those that have passed away are cleansed, and if the ship is equipped with a contemporary refrigeration system, they are either cooled or frozen locally. Despite the fact that traditional ceramic jars are still used by many Japanese fishermen today, plastic jars are also widely used since they are more lightweight, less expensive, and easier to transport. On the other hand, there are some traditional fishing villages that continue to use ceramic jars because they feel that they are more effective at attracting octopus and bring a more consistent output. In addition, some contemporary traps are outfitted with scented plastic baits or shining LED lights in order to enhance their capacity to attract octopuses in deeper seas where light is unable to penetrate to the bottom. Typically, the best times to catch octopus are throughout the summer and the beginning of the fall. The octopus becomes more active in the southern areas of Japan, such as the waters of Okinawa or the western portion of Kyushu, when the sea temperature rises and the warmth of the sea causes it to become more active. Because of the temperate environment, octopus can be taken throughout the entire year. However, in northern locations, such as Hokkaido, the fishing season is shorter running from late spring to early fall, and it is greatly reliant on the severity of the weather conditions. It is interesting to note that octopus catching is not only a commercial activity in Japan, but also a distinct component of the culture of the country. There are a lot of fishing villages that celebrate octopus fishing by holding festivals. These festivals include traditional customs, like praying to the sea deity, carrying jars, or setting traps while fishing. People view it as a chance to strengthen their connections with the community, share their experiences with those of a younger generation, and convey their appreciation to the ocean that they live in. One of the most important aspects that contributes to the success of octopus trapping is the capacity of the fishermen to closely observe and evaluate the sea. In order to establish the areas where octopuses are most prevalent, they need to keep a close eye on the changes that occur in water currents, temperature, salinity, and other biological parameters. A great number of experienced fishermen are able to properly forecast the optimum location to set their traps by just examining the color of the seawater, observing the flight of seabirds, or feeling the vibrations of the bottom of the boat as it travels through the reefs. In comparison to other fishing techniques like as trawling or bottom trawling, octopus fishing with traps is seen as being believed to be significantly more environmentally benign. Due to the fact that the chum does not create any damage to the seabed, it does not catch without discrimination, and it only targets the appropriate target, which contributes to the preservation of the marine ecosystem and the long-term maintenance of resources. In recent decades, due to high market demand, overfishing of octopus in certain seas has forced the Japanese government to implement production control measures, such as limiting the number of jars that are allowed to be used, regulating fishing seasons, and promoting artificial octopus farming. This is in line with the Japanese culture's philosophy of using but not using, which emphasizes the importance of utilizing but not using. On the other hand, octopus farming presents a significant obstacle due to the fact that these animals are highly intelligent, possess the ability to flee, and are vulnerable to stress when kept in captivity. Japanese experts, on the other hand, are always looking for ways to improve octopus farming processes in order to lessen the amount of strain that is placed on natural resources. Over the past few years, the Setouchi Sea has been the site of a number of collaborative initiatives involving fishermen, universities, and the government. These initiatives aim to produce young octopuses and release them into the sea, thereby reintroducing wild populations. From simple ceramic jars to fishing systems equipped with positioning sensors, from primitive diesel-powered boats to modern fishing boats equipped with GPS and radar systems, octopus trapping in Japan is a living testament to the combination of folk knowledge, traditional techniques, and modern innovation. In general, the octopus trapping methods used in Japan are a living testament to the combination of these three elements. All of these things are representations of the forward-thinking, creative, and loving nature of the Japanese fishermen. The caught octopuses are swiftly transferred from the deck of fishing boats to refrigerated trucks or containers filled with aerated seawater in order to keep them alive, so that they may be transported to a nearby processing plant. This occurs after the fishing boats have been at sea for a considerable amount of time. At Japan, the process of processing octopus at seafood companies is always carried out in accordance with stringent standard operating procedures. This method not only serves the home market, but it also satisfies the standards for exporting to demanding markets, such as Europe, the United States, and other East Asian countries. This is done to ensure that the product quality and food safety are at their highest possible levels. The classification of the octopuses is the first stage that takes place once they have been brought into the plant. The personnel in the input processing area will categorize the octopuses according to their size, how fresh they are, and their other physical characteristics. Those that are still alive will be stored in tanks that contain seawater and have a temperature and oxygen level that are under control. These factors are carefully monitored by technicians in order to prevent the octopuses from experiencing thermal shock or asphyxia. Since this will have an impact on the quality of the meat after it has been processed, the dead ones, if they are still in excellent shape, will be transported to the cleaning department as soon as possible so that they can be processed in the shortest amount of time possible. In terms of importance, the cleaning stage is among the most crucial stages. After the octopuses have been placed on a conveyor belt, the internal organs, ink sacs, eyes, and mouths are removed by individuals who have specific training in this area. This is a job that takes agility and meticulousness since, if it is not done carefully, the ink sacs will burst, which will dirty the entire body of the octopus, which will have an effect on the quality of the flesh. After that, the octopus is washed again and again with either cold water or salt water that has been diluted in order to totally remove any pollutants that may still be present. When it comes to increasing cleaning efficiency while simultaneously minimizing the amount of physical labor required, several modern companies use high-pressure spray systems in conjunction with motorized rotating conveyors. The next step is the blanching process. Following cleaning, the octopus will be placed in big boiling water tanks or high-temperature steam chambers for a brief blanching time. This blanching process typically lasts between 30 seconds and 2 minutes, although the exact duration of the blanching period is determined by the size of the octopus. When meat is blanched, it becomes firmer, maintains its attractive color, and eliminates the fishy smell that was present before. Moreover, this is the phase that eliminates microorganisms on the surface. Instantaneously following the blanching process, the octopus is placed into either an ice water tank or a cold air conditioning system in order to shock the temperature. This helps the meat to maintain its crispness and prevents it from becoming overcooked. Immediately following the cooling process, the octopus will be transported to the subsequent sorting section, where it will be separated into numerous product lines according to the requirements of the market. It is frozen in its entirety, diced, frozen into small pieces, before being sliced for sashimi, or before being processed as raw materials for products like takoyaki, seafood salad, or quick noodles. The fish is prepared in advance. Typically, larger ones are preserved in their original state by being stored in vacuum bags or plastic trays that have closures, totally labeled with information about the origin, weight, and manufacturing date, as well as a barcode for the purpose of tracing. The grounding of seafood patties, surimi, or raw materials for the preparation of animal feed and aquatic goods can be done with components that are either small, damaged, or of substandard quality. However, depending on the reason for consumption, freezing is a necessary stage in the process of preserving a product for an extended period of time. There are 2 methods that can be utilized to freeze octopus: slow freezing, which is known as traditional cold storage, and quick freezing, which is known as the individual quick freezing IQF system. Through the use of IQF technology, it is possible to freeze each individual octopus or each piece of octopus in a relatively short amount of time. Within a few minutes, the temperature is often below -40 degrees Celsius, which prevents the cells of the meat from breaking down and allows the meat to maintain its structure and natural flavor when it is thawed. Immediately following the freezing process, the product will undergo its final packaging and then be placed in a cold storage facility in order to await shipment. In the course of the processing, the factory always ensures that proper hygienic conditions are maintained. Full safety gear, including masks, gloves, boots, and hair caps, is required to be worn by working personnel. For the purpose of preventing any external sources of microorganisms from entering the work area, they are required to wash their hands with disinfectant, pass through the disinfection chamber, and step on the disinfection mat before entering the work area. Following the conclusion of each shift, specialized cleaning solutions and hot water are utilized to thoroughly clean all of the processing equipment, operating tables, blades, and tanks. To further ensure the safety of the food supply, processed octopus will be sampled on a regular basis for the purpose of analyzing it for the presence of bacteria, heavy metal residues, and preservatives. On the off chance that there are any, the samples will be analyzed by either internal or external laboratories in accordance with Japanese standards or in accordance with the needs of the export market. If it is discovered that any batch of products does not meet the required standards, the entire batch will be separated from the rest of the batch, destroyed, and will not be permitted to be sold on the market. In addition, quick items are made from a piece of the octopus that has been prepared. After the basic processing and blanching phases, the further stages will be passed to the department that handles secondary processing. Spices such as miso sauce, sweet soy sauce, teriyaki, ginger, garlic, or hot pepper are used to marinate the octopus in this preparation method. There are numerous recipes for this preparation method. Following the thorough marinating of the octopus slices, the slices are either steamed or dried before being packaged in aluminum bags or plastic trays that have been sealed. This process results in instant dishes that may be stored at room temperature. These goods are extremely well liked in grocery stores, convenience stores, and bento boxes, among other popular places. In big plants located in coastal industrial zones, such as those in the prefectures of Chiba, Miyagi, or Hiroshima, the entire process of operation is nearly entirely automated, beginning with the stage of importation and ending with the stage of warehouse leaving. In order to increase efficiency and decrease the number of errors that are caused by humans, robots and mechanical arms are programmed to sort, cut, pack, and arrange products. The color and shape of the octopus are analyzed by some companies in order to automatically discard samples that are not up to standard. These factories also integrate artificial intelligence technologies in order to monitor product quality through image recognition cameras. Batches of octopus that are going to be exported will be placed in containers that are chilled, then sealed, labeled, and transported to the seaport in order to board the ship. The data collected by the sensor systems that are installed in each container will be transmitted to the control center using the cloud computing system. These sensors will record the temperature of the container during the journey. After the items have been delivered, clients have the opportunity to inspect the whole cold storage chain, beginning in Japan and ending at the delivery site, to verify that the product has never exceeded the temperature at which it was stored.